You guys have any noodle questions? Snake questions? While we sit with her while she adjusts. I think she likes it. I think she's pretty happy. How old is she? She's at least 10. Because I know that she was at that last facility for years. They told me she was there for 10 years. Which I guess, I mean, yeah, it's possible. It's really hard to imagine with the enclosure that she was in, but I suppose it's possible. What's your favorite noodle story? I guess, I've said this before, the facility that she was at is a facility that I interned at one point, and they always told me that the carpet python, that the carpet was evil. I don't think she had a name there. I don't remember them ever calling her anything but the carpet. And they always told me that the carpet was evil, and I didn't have any snake experience, so I always used to be really scared of her. And when I asked them if they were willing to part with anything, they were like, yeah, the carpet, you want it? And I was like, okay. And so I was really scared to take her. But then she ended up being awesome, so. But that's just because I had no snake experience, so they just told me and I, listened to them. Do you recommend reptiles as pets? Generally speaking, no. Thank you for the sub. Generally speaking, no. So reptiles need a lot more than I think people realize that they need. You have to maintain their humidity properly. They have to have the right lights. They have to have the right temperature, the right substrate. They're kind of complicated. And on top of all of that, they're not very affectionate, at least in the way that we're used to for like dogs and cats. So you're not going to get like an animal that like wants to be around you and have you pet it and play with it and stuff like that. And I think a lot of people expect a connection like that when they have a pet. So that can be really challenging. Even with the right research, it's tough. Rescued reptiles are one thing. I think that's the absolute best way to go about it. But the other thing about the reptile pet trade is that reptiles are the second most traded family of animals right underneath birds. So it's birds are exploited for the pet trade the absolute most, primarily parrots, and then reptiles are right after. There's a ton of poaching for the pet trade to meet the demand for exotic reptiles as pets. And we don't have enough information yet on how that affects like all wild reptile populations. Truly, we have like no data at all for some species of reptiles that are traded in the pet trade. So that can be really scary too. So sourcing of reptiles, if you're purchasing them, can be bad for reptiles. Her last weight was 8.7 pounds. This isn't a new snake. No, we've had Noodle is one of the OGs. I brought Noodle back. Me and Ella brought Noodle back in April of 2021. She eats rats. Pretty significant size rats. I feel like they're like that big around. Maybe they're feeding her smaller ones right now because she did go on a pretty significant food strike. She move in. She's moving. Very slowly, she's moving. Sorry, I just read this super long message about this leopard gecko. We can't take any of your guys' pets or animals. I get a lot of inquiries like that. But hopefully you can get them a good enough setup or find them a home that makes sense. How much does she weigh and will she get any bigger? So her last weight was 8.7 pounds. I don't think that she'll get any bigger. I do think she's grown since we got her though, strangely. I don't know if we measured her when she first came here. I feel like she's longer, but I'm not, maybe that's crazy. Is it possible to overstimulate a snake? I mean, snakes can definitely experience stress, yeah. She's looking down, like, what is that? It's your new giant soaking dish. What do you think? Okay, a lot of people have asked why they call them carpet pythons. I don't know the answer to that question. I've been avoiding it. But if somebody in chat knows, let me know. I don't know where that name came from. I mean, my guess would be the pattern, but I'm not sure. We don't expect her to eat Marty or Pixel. No. She would not eat insects. She eats things much bigger than that. Do you put scent enrichment to make her feel more comfy? We might play with scent enrichment. Yeah, that's a question for our animal care staff. Someone asked if we could feed her live mice. So we don't feed live. We're really lucky that this snake will eat thawed frozen rodents for a couple reasons. One, it's way more humane that way. To be able to humanely euthanize rodents, we order those. We don't euthanize them here. But we get humanely euthanized rodents and then freeze them and thaw them, and she'll eat them that way. So it's much more humane to do that because it's a pretty rough way to go as a live rat to a snake. And then the other thing is rats have really, really strong bites. And so they could do a lot of damage to this snake because they're literally fighting for their life. And we would hate to have her scales get ripped up by getting bit by a rat. I'm guessing that's artificial wood. No, it's real wood. It's from this property. This is oak. From outside. From the teeth and the nails. Mostly the teeth are what I would worry about if in a live feeding. How tall is she? She's about 8 feet long. If that's what you mean. No, how tall is she? Like 3 inches? Maybe? 2.5? Are snakes as tall as they are wide? Not necessarily. Snakes come in lots of different shapes and sizes. Do reptiles need to drink water? Snakes can drink water. They get most of their hydration from soaking, though. Maybe that depends on the species of snake. Same with, like, tortoises. Soaking helps hydrate them. So this is her soaking dish. There's water in there. The pattern on her head looks like 2 eyes. Yeah, she's got a sad face on her head. Look how long she is. Noodle's big. Do you think he's wild caught? I don't think she's wild caught. I don't know for sure, but I don't think so. What kind of treats can you give them? So snakes, this snake will only eat once a month, if that. So they're not much of like a treat. She's not much of a treat gal. Like you couldn't like give her a bacon strip. They eat very infrequently and large meals. Stupid question, but how do snakes go to the toilet? Not a stupid question. Snakes have a cloaca, similar to how birds have a cloaca. I'm not going to bother her, but it's one hole for everything. So her urates and her feces will come out from a hole underneath her. And then that's also where they lay eggs out of, and that's also how they copulate. Same with birds. There she is. Windows need some WD-40. No, it's not that. It's that they're so heavy. It's glass. Like big pieces of glass. So they're just heavy. Would you take collabs in here now? Yeah, that's a good question. I haven't really thought about that. I suppose we could. I mean, the dream is that we can get Patchy and the snakes to target out voluntarily for collabs. So like the idea of them coming to see these enclosures and then like us targeting them out for handling would be incredible. Are the plants real? Yes, they are. Do you name the plants? You guys are welcome to name the plants. Does Noodle have a smell? I heard a lot of reptiles smell like corn chips. I don't think she has a smell. Her poop certainly does. I don't think she really smells like anything. She's exploring. Yay.